What's up, fellow rock and rollers? Peace and love and thumbs up and A-OK, cowabunga and rock and roll. And guess what? See it in the description. We're going to be doing 7th chords. The most popular ones, A7, B7, C7, D7, E7, F7, and G7. Just the 7th chords based off of the traditional chords that we play. Just the 7th version of them. All right, so let's start off with A7. You sunk my battleship. All right, so A7 sounds like this. And here's where you'll hold it. Basically like you think you're playing an A, right? Where you play your middle two strings, the G and the D. That's where you would play A. But to play an A7, instead of having those two fingers right next to each other on the 2nd fret, you slide one finger down to the 2nd string from the bottom, the B string, and you keep that other finger where you have on the 3rd string from the top, the D string, both on the 2nd fret. So we're on the D string, you're holding the D string and the B string down on the 2nd fret to play an A7. That's what it sounds like, and that's what it looks like. Here's an A major, and we move this finger down one string. Simple enough, that's A7. All right, this one is probably the most complicated one, B7. It's really interesting. You can play it in multiple ways, but I like to play it like this, where I am barring the entire 2nd fret with one finger, right? Try to hold one finger all the way down on all the strings except the top string, because we're not actually playing the top string. So you hold the 2nd string from the top down. You bring a finger here, 3rd string from the top on the 4th fret. And then you bring a pinky finger is what I like to use, all the way down to the bottom string of the 4th fret. So that's B7. This is how I like to play it. You can also play it like that. Sounds pretty nice too. So here's where we are, barring the entire 2nd fret, I like to bring my ring finger down, 3rd string from the top, the D string on the 4th fret, then bring your pinky all the way down to the bottom string of the 4th fret, or the 2nd string from the bottom. Both sound pretty good. That's a B7. Now there's another way to play this, which gets very interesting. And you can play this all on the 2nd fret as well, mostly on the 2nd fret. It's really interesting. It's also a B7. Now this one looks like your hand's in like kind of like a pretzel. It's more complicated to play, but you can do it this way too. 2nd string from the top on the 2nd fret you hold down. Then you bring 3rd string from the top on the 1st fret you hold down. Then you skip a string. Actually, nope, you don't skip a string here. You go to the G string, 3rd string from, or this would be the 4th string from the top of the 3rd string from the bottom. Then you skip a string and go all the way to the bottom string of the 2nd fret. So mostly on the 2nd fret. These are all the ones on the 2nd fret. You're on the 2nd string, the 4th string, and the 6th string. Every other string, all the even numbered strings from the top. And then you're going to bring this finger, your pointer finger, to the 3rd string from the top on the 1st fret. And that plays a B7. So there's 2 variations of it. This is a little more complicated to play this one. I like to bar it like we did originally. This one sounds a little bit cleaner to me anyway. Maybe a little bit easier to play because you're not getting your fingers all jumbled all over the place. That's a B7. All right, good stuff. Now we're going to go to a C7, all right? A C7, this one's very interesting as well. So you play a normal C chord. You get your hands in the shape of a normal C chord, which is like this. Pointer finger on the 2nd string from the bottom, the B string. Skip a string, go to the 3rd string from the top, which is the D string, put a finger there. And then 2nd string from the top, your A string, put a finger there on the 3rd fret. That plays a traditional C. To play a C7, all you have to do is take the string that you skipped and put your pinky on the 3rd fret. The string that you skipped is the G string. So when you play a C chord, it looks and sounds like that. But when you play a C7, it looks and sounds like this. All right, so that's a C7. Now let's do D7. D7 is a little bit interesting. It's kind of like messes with your head a little bit. It's almost like you're playing your D chord, but you're just mixing up the fingers. So, and you're going on the second and first fret instead of the second and third fret. So a D looks like this. A D7 is the bottom string on the second fret. Skip a string, go to the third string from the bottom, also on the second fret. And the string that you skip, the B string, you bring a finger here on the first fret. So it's, you hold the second fret down of the bottom string, hold the second string down from the bottom on the first fret, and then the third string from the bottom also holding down on the second fret. And it looks and sounds like this. That's a D7. All right. Getting into an easier one here, the E7 is probably one of our easiest ones. It looks and sounds like this. So you're on the second string from the top. On the second fret, you hold down, you skip a string, and then you go to the third string from the bottom, or fourth string from the top, depending on how you're looking at it, on the first fret. I like to use my pointer finger here on the first fret and my middle finger here on the second fret. Looks and sounds like that. That's an E7. Very cool. All right, let's do an F7 now. F7 to me is kind of reminiscent of B7, where you want to bar most of the first fret. You're barring the entire first fret, starting from the top string. You bring a finger to the second string from the top on the third fret, and then you're going to skip a string and go to the third string from the bottom, or fourth string from the top, on the second fret. And I use these fingers to play them, so I keep my pinky sort of in no man's land for this one. Bar the entire first fret, second string from the top on the third fret, third string from the bottom on the second fret, you hold down. Skipping that string, the D string, but you're holding that down essentially with your pointer finger. Looks and sounds like that. An F7. All right, and our last one is a G7. Now, G7 is very interesting. You could almost think of this as playing a C, actually, but moving the fingers a little bit. So get your fingers in the shape of a C chord. Right, we did this earlier when we played C7. And to play G7, you move your pinky down, your pointer finger down one to the bottom string of the first fret. You move your middle finger up to the second string from the top on the second fret, and then your ring finger up to the top string of the third fret. So this is a C, right? And move this down one, move this up one, move this up one on the same frets. And that's a G7. So it's basically the same shape. You're just moving one finger, these two fingers up one string each, your middle finger and your ring finger, and then you're going to move your pointer finger down one. And that gets a G7, and it sounds and looks like that. All right, so in review, A7. Looks and sounds like that. B7, two different ways we did it. Or C7, D7, E7, F7, and G7. Pretty cool, right? Love it. The 7th chords. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All just the 7th chords instead. Good work today. Thanks so much for tuning in on these 7th chords. We're going to be doing some different ones with 7th chords coming up. It's a cool variation and fun melodies that you get from them. You hear them in country music more often than any other genre, I feel like, sometimes in jazz as well. And you'll hear it in popular music, but not as often as some of our other genres I just mentioned. So peace and love, thumbs up, and aka Cowabunga and rock and roll. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.